I'm Rick Harp. This is your APTN News Brief for Tuesday, July 8th. We begin in Manitoba, where wildfires have forced some to flee their homes for a second time. Under evacuation orders as of Monday, Lynn Lake, Wallace Lake, Marcel Colombe First Nation, Matthias Colombe Cree Nation, Tutusqueak Cree Nation, and portions of Nopaming Provincial Park. As well, the town of Leaf Rapids is set to issue an evacuation notice sometime this morning. With more on the situation, Sierra Bettens.
After a stretch of hot weather and thunderstorms, there are now 81 active wildfires in Manitoba, placing 6 communities under evacuation orders. On Monday, the province provided an update.
We've had a lot of lightning go through the province. And numbers were really escalating. We were seeing over 25 new fires every 24-hour period popping up.
Residents of Lynn Lake and Marcel Colombe First Nation are being forced to leave their homes a second time. On Friday, fires reportedly destroyed 7 homes in Tutusqueak Cree Nation, where residents remain evacuated.
The 20-year average for this date is 187, and we are at 235. So we're definitely above average for the number of fires we've had so far this year.
In a Saturday press release, Manitoba Kiiwetinoong Ogamaganik Inc. said up to 150 residents in the Opipinapawan Cree Nation have been medically evacuated. In a Sunday Facebook post, Pimpachikamak Cree Nation Chief David Monias said they've organized evacuations for Priority 1 residents, which include elders, people with medical conditions, and families with young children.
The Red Cross told us that they confirmed 60 rooms yesterday and 60 rooms today that are secured for evacuees. But they're prioritizing larger families, and certain families can stay together who are P1s. So if you have a P1 in your family and you're being sent out, then you can take your children.
The province is now monitoring 16 fires that could impact communities, and 6,600 Manitobans have been evacuated. Sierra Bettens, APTN National News, Winnipeg.
An Indian Day School Fund, named in honor of the late Gary McLean, has just been launched. Set at $200 million, the fund will provide benefits to McLean's fellow day school survivors. Fraser Needham reports.
As the McLean's Day School Board, it was important for us to take our time.
Lydia Kamanda is the CEO of the McLean Day School Settlement Corporation, or MDSSC. She says the launch of the Legacy Fund has been a long time coming, but board members wanted to ensure it was done properly.
To take our time to do this right, to do it in a good way. And we were a firm believer in ensuring that the vision and the legacy of Gary McLean was all about justice and the survivors' voices.
The fund will provide 4 streams of funding targeted at survivor communities. These include up to $250,000 per year for 4 years for healing and wellness, up to $100,000 per year for 4 years for language and culture, a one-time payment of $100,000 spread over 4 years for commemoration, a one-time payment of $100,000 spread over 4 years for truth-telling. Each community is also eligible for a one-time payment of $25,000 to set up survivor committees. MDSSC board member Gloria Wells says it is important communities will be able to determine how funding is spent.
Because government have put out a lot of programs for everybody to try and get that self-help and healing, but it has not worked for our people. We need to come from our own, who we are. That's why I strongly believe that ceremony and our language and our culture will be the ones to help us.
Roger Augustine is also on the board of the Legacy Fund. He says Gary McLean is never too far from his thoughts.
And whenever I feel that, I got moved on, I'll look at the crowd like this and he'd be sitting there waving, right? And I'm sure most of you could see that. The smiling face, the friendly face, a good person, a good man. We lost him.
Amanda adds McLean may be gone, but he is definitely not forgotten.
He was such a loving human being. Very loving, heart and soul. He was very knowledgeable. He really deeply cared for survivors, cared for all the communities right across Canada.
Communities can apply for funding from July 7th to the end of September 2025. Fraser Needham, APTN National News, Ottawa.
And finally, some folks in Edmonton decided to mark Nunivoot Day early over the weekend. With more on the food and fun on offer, Chris Stewart.
For about 10 years, Guta Desmarais has been coordinating Nunavut Day celebrations in Edmonton. And at Rundle Park on Sunday, that tradition continued. Cooler temperatures and rain kept some people away, but the 36 or so people here certainly enjoyed themselves. Guta says it's vital to stay connected.
In the Arctic, it's a very small community, and on a daily basis, you're connecting with friends and family. But when you live in a city, it's such a big city. And so it's so important for our community to come together to have celebration like Nunavut Day so we can speak our language. We can do, some of our cultures and traditions.
Traditional foods like seal, Arctic char, and narwhal were on the menu.
Thank you.
Elder Minnie celebrated her 86th birthday.
Happy birthday to you. You know what Nazapi means? If you come and see me first, you get a prize.
Guta was giving prizes to people who knew Inuktitut words.
And it's nice to be able to share the Inuktitut language for the urban Inuit maybe that didn't have a chance to learn Inuktitut, because when you live in the city, it's hard to learn Inuktitut. So we have these events, as you can see today, building our vocabulary, playing little games in hopes that their vocabulary grows so our language continues.
I just would like to say hi to everyone. Nunavut, I miss you guys. You are loved. We're all loved.
It means more than words can say.
Jana has been living in Edmonton for 3 years. She moved from Nunavut because housing was too hard to find.
Having events like this just fills that void a little bit, and I get to connect with people that I know and new people that I've met today.
Chris Stewart, APTN National News, Edmonton.
And that's your APTN News Brief for Tuesday, July 8th. I'm Rick Harp.